Well, we have seen Paul Mashatile, the deputy president, visiting the Afrikaner gathering where they do their agricultural stuff. By the way, I want to emphasize this. Afrikaners actually are the people who work with their hands. If you can take a very closer look, and also historically, so there are people who are actually based in agriculture and farming. And in South Africa, I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe 70 to 80% of our agriculture and farming is actually run by Afrikaners, because these are the people who are traditionally passionate about farming, about agriculture, using their own hands, and they do their own things. And it is so sad, man, to see politicians now wanting to play this as a political football, passing one another, because if you look at what the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, said about Afrikaners at the CEO Africa, and you look at what Paul Mashatile is doing, is two different things. And we know that Paul Mashatile is one of the crooks in the ANC, man. I don't actually believe in everything that these ANC crooks are saying to the people, because we know them for who they really are. You cannot come out as if you were in some, I don't know, under the rock somewhere and say, yeah, no, Afrikaners, nothing will happen to you. He's just campaigning. That is just a publicity stunt, and he should be focusing on his health, man. It's so sad that everybody in the ANC sees themselves as leaders, as people who can steer the ANC to the right direction. But definitely we have seen many of them taking a blunder and embarrassing us. So it is so sad. I don't see anyone who is a leader from the ANC side. Actually, I have stopped believing in everything that comes from the ANC. I don't care whether they do what or they do what. I've seen them for who they really are. So whoever is coming from that same pot of ANC, I don't want to say I believe in them. And I'm just wondering why South Africans are so bothered by Afrikaners, because Afrikaners are the people who are doing their own things, and some of the things that they are doing, like agriculture and farming, poultry, whatever they're doing, the benefits most of us for food security purposes, because farming, is one of the main portfolios that brings food to the table. Agriculture brings food to the table, so we are actually surviving on them. And I don't understand if people say, good, they must just leave and all of that. How is our economy going to look like? Because at this current stage, we've got a very depreciating economy. It's not growing, and we are suffering. We continue to be subjected to a corrupt government that the only thing that they do there is just to continue to steal, to enrich themselves, and use every issue as a political football. They think we are playing. They think this is some kind of joke. This is a comedy show or what. I don't know. And actually, this is what happens when you become detached to the realities of your country. And I don't see a president character in Paul Mashatile. Paul Mashatile is one of those old crooks in the ANC. So I don't care what is it that he is actually intending to bring to the table, but he has got nothing. I know that politicians always lie to the people. By the way, I want to paint this picture that not all black people are typical black people who actually wants to destroy. It's only few that are actually there at the forefront and misleading other black people who are too lazy to assess things. Just like the EFF, the MKP, what they are doing, they are just misleading people. Say, let's march to Orania, let's march to Kleinfontein. Also MKP, let's go to Kleinfontein and march and all of that. I have been asking the same question, that what exactly are the Afrikaners bothering you with? And no one could answer that question, by the way. And by the way, as black people, while we are busy with this, Afrikaners are busy with serious business. Watch this video and tell me what you think. Yeah, man, we get to see this almost all the time in our communities, in townships, in squatter camps. This is what we are subjected to. That black people actually, I feel more like the democracy that they wanted was not really about prosperity, was not really about building a sustainable future for their kids and conducting themselves in a very exemplary manner where they will be, every adult should be a leader and should portray themselves as people who have got potential to guide the society. So it is so sad when we see grown-up people dancing and jumping like this, making a lot of noise. I don't honestly really have time to do that personally. And by the way, people are saying, yeah, but you guys talk a lot of crap on YouTube, and what are you doing? What I do? We are really busy with our lives, even though opportunities have not really knocked on our doors, but we try every day, we hustle, we push, we grapple. If we can't run, we walk swiftly. If you can't walk swiftly, you crawl. If you can't crawl, you run. You're trying your best, and we are not just talking and sitting in our comfort zone. There's no one who's comfortable. Young people in this country are grappling with so many things. We are going through a lot, and we can see that under the ANC government, we will never get opportunities. Just look at what the deputy president was saying. By the way, he should be focusing on his health issues and all of that, because this is just a publicity stunt. Let's watch this video.
But also, when it comes to those international concerns or issues that have been making international, news, the issues of those individuals who have fled to the U.S., both the minister and the deputy president really commented on that, but also encouraging, for the farmers who are considering moving to the U.S. to really give South Africa a chance, saying that as the executive, they are willing to listen, but also they've got a plan to address those issues addressed by some of those farmers. Let's take a listen to the deputy president, Paul Mashatile, when he addressed some of us as the members of the media on those current affairs matters.
I did explain earlier on that there are no land grabs in South Africa. We are working together, we are partnering and so on. So we continue with those discussions. There's a panel discussion now that Minister McPherson has gone to deal with those issues. Minister Steenhuisen is coming later on. So we'll continue to talk to the farmers so that we understand one another and what we want to do.
So what I like about this video that we have watched now is that Afrikaners are showing us as Black South Africans that they are capable of doing their own things, farming, agriculture, and all of that. Where have we seen Black people gathering like this and doing the farming or teaching one another, or the workshops and all of that, which are teaching agriculture, are teaching farming and all of that? Let me be honest, South Africans, Black people are too busy drinking alcohol. That's all that we do. Even when we have some spare time at our homes, we don't do gardening, we don't want to research, we don't want to gather information and all. And that is the main concern. And when you speak about these issues all the time, people think, hey, you're too serious, man, you're too mean, you must soften up, you must drink alcohol. And there's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol, but do it responsibly. And another thing is that as Black people, we need to constructively build our lives, because we have got a lot to do. You wouldn't really have the whole night to drink alcohol when you have got other things to do that can actually take you to another level. Empower yourself, multi-skill yourself, upskill yourself, do something, do some research and all of that. This is what we actually fighting for. As an average citizen of this country, a young person, I've seen corruption, for so many years. done by the ANC, from the African National Congress. I've lost hope in them. And when you look at these other political parties, MKP, EFF, and other, the problem is that black people are actually much more focused on identity politics, that this party belongs to black people, I can resonate with it, and they don't care what actually are the intentions of those political leaders who are running the show. If you look at someone like Jacob Zuma has got so many scandals and all of that. There's unresolved issues, and he's just as dirty as everyone in the ANC, even in the EFF. EFF has got young people who are super smart, who are promising, but the problem is that the leader will always crush them. That's just like what he did to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi was someone who was promising. He doesn't have scandals, of taking money or being corrupt or what. But because of the leader who's there at the forefront, then he instructs you to do certain things that you can see that, but this one, it's not going to benefit us as voters or what, and we need to do things very differently and in a very matured way, not to actually spark violence or to sing those hatred or hateful songs and all of that. We need to stop that and try to sit down and assess ourselves. What exactly can we do that the Afrikaners are doing and we have been failing to do? All that I know is that the government officials and the ANC comrades are busy with corruption and nothing else. They don't have intentions to build this country. They don't have even any kind of a dream where they want to actually take this country. So that's why I'm saying Paul Mashatile is just campaigning. He's there doing his own thing. By the way, he started a long time ago to campaign because he can see that Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't want him to ascend into becoming president. And he really wants to be president. And for what purposes, we don't know. When you are a leader and you want to ascend into becoming a president, give us your mandate, give us your intentions, give us your plans that this is what I want to achieve when I become president. But all these people there, the other one was saying, Mshinwam, later Mshinwam Yang Bambezela, he became president, then he did nonsense. Oh, his tenure was just horrible. The other one comes, New Dawn, Tumamina campaign and all of so. All these politicians keeps lying to South Africans. There's nothing that we can expect from them. And it is so sad to see black people also helping these politicians to destroy our country. Because immediately we actually push Afrikaners out and saying they must leave. That is where the problem starts. That is where Zimbabwe is now loading. And that is when we are going to lose food security. The farms are going to be taken by the ANC, criminals, gangsters, and they don't have even any kind of experience of farming. You remember Nomvula Mkonyane when she actually had a farm where pigs died because of hunger. That's how poor we are as black people. And I keep asking myself, why do we like being at the forefront when we know that we have got no interest about nothing? If I was president, by the way, the Afrikaners who have got farmers who are doing poultry, agriculture and all of that, I was going to sponsor them because that's where the food security lies. And I was going to have contracts with them to supply food. And what? I mean, it's common sense. It's common sense that now you focus on food security. You focus on upskilling people. You focus on industrialization. You multi-skill people so that they acquire skill, and the economy must grind. Yeah? The economy must grind. We should not be crying for opportunities as young people. No, they rather take Gwedeman Touch's son and put him there at SITA, a board there, and that's Gwedeman Touch's son, and everybody must, Sihlelonze of the EFF was kicked out of parliament 2 days ago because he was confronting that issue. And that's a promising man, by the way, from the EFF that I see. This young man is very smart. But the problem is that being in a wrong political party, a very antagonist kind of political party. That's where the problem and the blunder will be, because somehow they are going to push him to do or to say horrible things, and that's where he's going to make a blunder. But anyway, it's so sad when we see politicians' sons, politicians' kids having all the opportunities that us as young people of this country we hardly have. And what should we do? Should we just keep quiet and say, no, it's business as usual, let's stop complaining, people, yes, and then we must just continue to be poor, to face poverty, and we need to be graduates and come and sit in townships and in squatter camps and say, no, viva ANC. I will never do that. I'm sorry. I don't want to be part of that. If you're going to vote for the ANC, I'm not going to be part of that. If you vote for MKP, do it at your own risk. If you vote for EFF, do it at your own risk, because we cannot vote for the parties which are promoting racial divisions. Let's start there. Let them come back to us and tell us exactly what are their intentions with this country. What exactly are they planning to do to build a sustainable future for this country and for the next generation that is going to come. We cannot continue to spark racial hatred there, to pull an apartheid card there, to pull a racism card there. Hey, South Africans, especially black South Africans, we need to wake up and do positive things. I've never seen black people gathering together and say, oh, you're working, I'm working, there's 5 of us. Let's save 100 rand a month into a certain investment account so we can start businesses and all of that. We don't do that, because why? All that we know is to drink alcohol on a weekend and sleep on the street, urinate on public and do all those messy things. And there's teenage pregnancy, there's drugs, there's poverty, there's, it's chaotic in townships. Yet we have got the government which promised the people that, oh no, I'm going to work for you. Oh no, I'm going to make your life better, better life for all. We deserve the best, not better, the best. And that is the motivation we should have. But anyway, unfortunately, we've got presidents who are actually putting the country on just autopilot. They are too lazy to run this country. Put it on autopilot and they just do whatever the business they do. Even the deputy president, I'm saying, he's campaigning. There's nothing else. That's my view, squatters. Thank you to the people who watch my content, who reach out to me. Those who have not subscribed, please subscribe. Click that notification bell. When I drop the content, you happen to be the first to get it fresh. Thank you, South Africa. Sure.